Ah, okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. We have stopped down. not the first time. I had to change the resolution.
Oh, okay.
Just closing all the. What is the resolution?
Keep working it, but I'll pull up your presentation on my machine.
Laptop not working.
Oh, there it goes. Oh.
I need to be in proximity. Hey, why don't we change it to 1080p? Get a little more resolution going there. That would go for everybody.
Oh, that's awesome.
Think of it. Thanks for.
Yeah, Rocket Chat. We're playing with Rocket Chat right now.
Okay. I think you're good. Yeah. Now step away. I'll introduce you, and then. Okay, we need. All right. Welcome to Devshop. I'm Robert Dickert. I'm very excited to introduce our guests. But first, if you're joining online, make sure you click the live button to sync up with the live stream. You can also submit questions for our speakers by tweeting them using the hashtag Devshop. There will be about 20 seconds of lag in the video. Our first speaker, Gabriel Engel, left his position in product management at Vodafone.
You guys enjoy it. So the first question that I usually get is, why did we build it? And he said before, we had a CRM tool. Was building Meteor, and lots of our clients are asking for a way for them to communicate to the clients on their websites, live chat or zapping, this kind of thing. So we thought, okay, Meteor is easy enough to give us the tool to create this kind of interface, and that's what we built. So it wasn't even an internal communication system. And then we said, well, why not to make it available for the public, for the community, for us them to help, because we knew that we probably didn't do the things the best way possible, and then we just, okay, we put it there, and someone will look and help us along. And that's what it did. It had a back-ended look. It was for internal communication that was inspired on other tools. And what happened was, boom. It was like, we didn't expect that. And in 4 days or 5 days after putting the proof of concept live and putting the URL for the Meteor community to look at, someone posted on Hacker News and was on the top for a few hours. And the next day, someone posted on Product Hunt. And yeah, so there was kind of like, that was the spike. This is like May 27 is when we actually launched or put the proof of concept there for people to see. And in that week, almost 40,000 page views, like 36,000 page views. And it wasn't just that we got attention, but people actually liked it. So we were receiving like amazing feedback. People could see that it was an unfinished tool, but they would say, wow, this has so much potential. And we were like trending on the Git trending repositories that week for a few weeks. And then we were like featuring the Stack Share as trending apps, and then become a feature button on Heroku. And then that was amazing, and we were like, "Wow, reactivity is really powerful. This is like we built this tool, and that's great." But we learned then, with all this volume of traffic, that with great power comes great responsibility. And yeah, we did learn on the hard way. When we were featuring in the Hacker News, we were like running around the company and like trying to keep the servers running and building, launching other instances, and it couldn't just keep up. It was just falling apart. But it was good learning. We were like, okay, what's happening? And then we started studying more in deep. And then that's the merge box. So one of the things that we had to change is because we have a huge volume of messages, and we're using subscriptions to keep in sync what each client had in their screen, and each client will have subscribed for multiple rooms that he will be talking to. And then if you know how Mergebox works, Mergebox is a part of Meteor that keeps a track of what is on each client's screen, or like what is their mini Mongo, so he knows if something changed, who he needs to tell about. And we realized that messages, once they get sent, they hardly ever change again. So all we didn't need all that. So, that's not mine. So we changed that, because the reason why our server was falling apart was because it was having too much memory and too much CPU for all those messages. And then we changed and started using a type of streams where the server would do just one observer on the message collection, and then decide on the future who it needed to send it to, but it wouldn't keep on the merge box. We just say, okay, I'm sure that guy received that message. It render on the screen, and if it changes, I'll send the whole message again. I don't care. I'm not gonna just tell them, oh yeah, the guy had just forgot to put an exclamation mark on the end. No, it's just like send the whole message. It doesn't care. It's small enough. So that's one of the things we have to change. It's a very edge scenario use case, so it's not for everybody. But if you have a tool that building an app that is going to have a big volume of object being sent, you might want to look into that. So we fixed the server part. So it was holding thousands and thousands of users, and that was great. But then Blaze got slow. It was like people started. Why? Yeah, I'll tell you why. People started like contributing with all these packages and say, "Oh, this is a parser. This is a parser for this. This is a parser for that." So we could like parser Twitter feeds, and then add the content from the Twitter. If it was a URL, then we grab the image and do a preview of the content. If it was a Markdown, we would show that. And if you are using a chat application and you keep switching between channels, it was in a good computer like a second and a half. Like in some computers, sometimes in a very busy room, it would take like 2-3 seconds. And that's just not good user experience. And then we was like, but what can you do? And we came up with a few ideas. The first one, it wasn't too great. We thought, okay, let's just hide the render template and then bring it back when you change rooms. And then we went to like Armageddon, because the Doom was just so huge. And on the mobile, it just crashed. And then, so it didn't work. It was faster on the first few rooms, but it just did not scale. And then we searched a bit more, and then we created the off-dome rendering. So, and that was the best of both worlds. Like, you have something that is not interfering with the DOM. It is already there rendered, so you're not going to render again. And when you switch rooms, you just have to attach that element that is already in memory that you created back to the DOM, so it's displayed. And so now you can switch rooms on Rocket Chat, and takes 50 milliseconds, which is amazing, I think. So yeah, that really worked. But that brought us another problem, which was the whole granularity of Blaze, which is one of its strengths, but in this specific scenario, it was being one of its weaknesses for us. We had this template with the message, and had a few this is a simplified version. That's how it is actually today. It was much more complex. Had a few ifs, like if it's edited, if it's a private message, you can edit, so all this trying to create the right rendering of the message, and you just like use this template to do a loop and show all the message. And then what happened, if anyone can see it here, is just like one page had 7,000, like almost 8,000 computations. And that was like computation hell. If you get, my browser, if you get over 50,000, it stops. And then it just breaks, and then gets that little face saying, oops. And then on mobile is much earlier. And I don't know if any of you guys run into this or have ever run into this. We came up with a solution which was break the granularity of Blaze, just for that specific situation. So we created a package that actually just gets a string and then asks Blaze to render to HTML, giving it the parameters and the data that it needs. It gives to that variable and returns the variable. And then there is no connection, and Blaze says, okay, nobody is watching these anymore. I just threw all these computations away. And which is like, yeah, so we created this package that you can use like narx. It's non-rendering, non-reactive rendering is the name of the package. And then, yeah, so that went down to 500. It's 1,500 because the rest of the screen and the users and stuff, that's up to 1,000. So you kind of start our screen with 1,000 computations. So it was from 8,000 to 500 computations because of that. And we didn't lost much. It's less granularity, but that's okay. The only thing that happens is every time you change one of the records, it re-renders the whole message, which is sometimes like a letter. So it's not much of a big deal. And it works. For us, it made the world difference. So if you ever run into computation hell, and maybe you should look for it. And then some people say, so why you keep using Blaze then if it's have all these problems? But what we do, we love the way it separates the logic and the templates. And especially on an open source project, it makes it easy for people to get and understand where they need to touch, what they need to change if they want. It's easier to maintain, and it becomes easy to contribute to. And we are very keen in making things easy to contribute to. Because our community is awesome. It's like I was so impressed. Like from a project that I put live just to get some feedback and for people to correct my bugs, and then what happens was like people start building official Docker repo, and that's something that one guy did. Okay, you guys should have like be on the official library of the Docker Hub, and then he did all the work. He talked with the guys from Docker. That's Pierre. And him and Sing Lee, and like I have to just say thanks. Like, I can't say thank enough for both of them. I was just receiving emails. Oh yeah, you have now just go there and say that you approve this, and you approve that, and then cool. It's just like yeah, it happens. And now we are on the official Docker repo. And then another guy said, yeah, I'm gonna make the Electron app for you guys. Great. And then we gave them some help with icons and stuff, and some of our devs then got involved because it's really nice to be to do Electron apps, and if you haven't done it yet, you are missing. It's really cool. And then yeah, the GitHub guys liked it, and next thing we know, we are featured on the list of build with Electron apps. And that's the actual Electron page. So yeah, kudos to that. We got a few cool features that people doing with Blaze. This is like just the counter when you miss some message. This one shows where you've been mentioned here on the scroll bar, so it's easy for you to see where are people talking to you. And then people started creating the mobile apps using the Cordova integration of Meteor. And then, yeah, we worked, our own team worked a lot on that as well. But now some guys looked at it, yeah, but I know a lot, I don't know Meteor, but I know a lot of Shift and Java. So I'll create the native apps for you guys. So we have teams now building the native apps for us, or, well, for the community, really. And so they'll be available soon. And that's going to be... we're going to keep both running, because this one, some people like it, to have the Cordova version. It's easier for them to tweak and play around with it. And some people like the other one. So we'll just keep those, both of them working with the application. Yeah, and we got video calls. Thanks, WebRTC. That's something that we didn't expect we would be able to do. And it wasn't easy, but it was easier than I expected, especially because I didn't do it like someone else did. So yeah, so you can test. You can have your own Skype or whatever, like internally using in your company, using just this project. It doesn't work on mobile like the WebRTC yet, but we will. It will soon. I think some post and it's something that is coming to the Android. And yeah, something else that just appeared, and I got involved. I was then see if the project is going well, and then you got guys from GitHub helping us to make robot integration and make it work really well. They're even here on the audience. That's thanks to Leaf House. So it's also known as rocket bots, as we don't like to call it. But someone else told me today they should call rocket cat. So I'm I'm open. I'm open. If you guys, the community can decide. So yeah. So and with the robots or rocket cat or whatever, it gives you much more than just that integration using the message. You can like ask him to give you a issue. He'll give you add comments to an issue, submit PRs, accept PRs, like push releases or start deployments. And okay, you can see that in other chats, but because we are open source and we are building a way that you can create this custom packages integrate to it, you can actually tweak and add. When you can see here, there's a few tabs. So you can add different tabs for a specific functionality. So in this case, for the DevOps, you have a functionality where you can actually open a file here and edit, or you can see the status of the CI. So and they are building lots of stuff that I haven't even seen yet. So he said he's going to show me later. But I know there's lots coming on this, and that's because it's easy to work with and to extend the platform. We've been translated to over 20 languages and counting. I think this is more than 20 already. And using a tool called LingoHub, it's really nice if you guys haven't used it and you have an open source project. It grabs the files straight from the repo, creates the interface for the translation using the source language, and then you just add your guys and go there, and then it commits it back to the repository. You don't have to do anything. It's really cool. So and the community keeps growing. So we must be doing something right. We're getting more and more visitors. We'll soon be hitting the same amount of traffic that we got on Hacker News, which then will be quite a milestone. And I put the one twice. In the wild, we've seen lots of people using. Most of them are still like proof of concept. They are guys in organizations that they will come and say, "Oh, that's a tool that we like to use." They install. They ask for our help. We give them support. And then we have some companies like the government. That's a part of the government in Brazil that they are trying out. This is the University of Santa Catarina. Is a university in Brazil. They're going to launch it by the end of the month. 50,000 users for their e-learning courses, and they expect to have 5,000 online simultaneously. And so far so good with the test, so we are happy with that. But we'll help them. Anything comes along, that's going to be another learning, right? So there's going to be another opportunity for us to test our concepts so far. But what that all made us realize that we are onto something. Why all of a sudden a project that was just like a module that we put online for a test that got all this visibility and people wanting to contribute, and so like, well, that's something. We have something in your hands. You have at least a big opportunity to do something. And then I realized, bing, I want to be the WordPress of chats. I want Rocket Chat to be the WordPress of chats. And I'm not kidding. I started comparing, okay, what's made WordPress like, they claim to have like 25% of all the websites on the web. What made them so successful? So it was open source. Yeah, that's always a good point, that you can host yourself. PHP it is still very popular. And that helped WordPress. It was easy to deploy. You just gave your server FTP to a specific directory, and there you go. It's easy to extend, so everybody can write plugins. There are like hundreds and thousands of plugins. Easy to theme and white label, and there was hosting for everyone. You could host your stuff on WordPress anyway. And that's okay. We are MIT, so I think that's the point for us. We're probably better. Yes, you can host. You own your own data. Do like you wish. And that's a big point. You have companies that they are not willing to use an external server for their internal communication and have some like private data that they don't like the idea of putting someone else's server. And lots of those companies are coming and talking to us, and we're helping them to deploy the tool. JavaScript is massive popularity. That's the #1 language on GitHub. And so far so good. Docker container. So deploying a Node.js app is not that easy as my opinion, as it was a PHP app. For most of people, they are not very savvy. So, but I think containers will change that. People, even like the most, once we have all figured out, like you have like Kubernetes, Galaxy, all this stuff, you're just gonna say, you're gonna see our official repo and say, okay, Docker deploy, and say what you want. And yeah, there you have it. It'd be much easier than PHP. And then you have the packaging system that people can extend. So the same way of plugins, we are leveraging the package system so people can add functionality to our platform. And can also also white label. That's why we show that most of the servers that we find running Rocket Chat, they're sometimes even hard to recognize that they changed it so much. And we are working on making an option for you to get to our website and say, I want a server running with this domain, and then we'll just spin off all the infrastructure for you for that and get you running. So yeah, that's being done. So stay tuned. And all to say that if we want to build WordPress of chats, I want you guys to help, and if you want to use the chat in your application, use it, and please contribute back to the source code, and I think we can do it. That's some guys that want to say massive thanks. Like this is the guys from the community. They help a lot. Some of those work on the CRM too are from my company, but most of them are not. And they just love the application and they're just contributing. And I'm impressed with how much time they spend, and I'm really glad. I just have no words to describe it. And I don't want to say, I just talked to Tim Brandy today, and he decided to get the devs from Space Talk, which was another chat application in Meteor, and say, well, if whoever wants from our devs wants to do chat, let's just join the Rocket Chat. And then he started a new application called Space Drop, which is kind of a continuation of Space Talk, but it's a Drupal-based, inspired CMS made in Meteor, obviously. And so, yeah, good luck with them, and whoever from Space Talk that want to join us, yeah, we're more than welcome. And thank you. And for more details, please visit rocket.chat.
Okay, questions for Gabriel?
Hey!
Do you have Rocket Chat stickers with you?
Do I have Rocket... Rocket Chat what, sorry? Stickers. I do. I think they're on my backpack. And I'll yay! That was yeah. What else?
So one big advantage over Slack is that you control your own data.
Yeah.
But for companies who are indifferent about that, what makes Rocket Chat more compelling than Slack?
There are a few things. Okay, have to. So you're asking what is our competitive advantage compared to Slack for companies that don't care about leaving their data on Slack servers? Yeah, well, WebRTC, for instance, is one. They don't have it yet. I know that they're building something. They'll probably come up with something soon. But what we do have, our development of new features is happening much faster. And then it's much easier to integrate with other tools on your company that you might want to use. I don't know. We have seen guys integrating like with their news channel or WordPress, so they can post and see the comments coming on their feeds and post things back to WordPress. We have seen people creating lots of different things on top of Rocket Chat because it's of its open source nature. I don't know. We on the feature set, we're gonna have many more features because it's just being extended so much. And you can, if you one day you decide to host with you, and you know that there are some limitations on Slack, for instance, for the free plan, and which you would not have with a tool like this. Like, yeah, I don't know. I can come up with a big list and put a comparison chart later for you somewhere. Yeah. Anything else? Or?
How would you scale Rocket Chat to like multiple instances of MongoDB? Have you done that yet, and how would you do it?
we did it in a way of that you can. Sorry, your questions. How can we scale Rocket Chat? So, it's in a similar way that you would scale other Meteor apps. We built it in a way that each app server, you can have as many. We are running always 4 in our servers to test in parallel, like 1 per core. So they managed to talk the streams up to each client and between them. And on the database, you're going to scale MongoDB on a way that you scale any other app. You're going to have to create a cluster and do sharding, and then probably do sharding by room or by something that makes sense. And it haven't been an issue. And we're probably going to learn a lot from these 50,000 users that we're going to deploy this week. And then, but we'll share everything back, and the source code will only improve.
Okay, do we have one more question?
Cool.
Okay, thanks, Gabriel.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay. Great job, Gabriel. Our second talk will be presented by Kevin Zhang and Jason Lee of iHealth Labs. Kevin is the CTO and has 20 years of experience in the software industry, including Intelligent Dealers and Each Cloud, which he founded. Jason is the lead developer and previously operated an agency in Toronto for 5 years.
All right.
So please give a warm welcome to Kevin and Jason.
All right. Step back. Okay, here we go. Yeah, regarding the iHealth, okay, if you just Google for iHealth, you can see it is a company actually produce a lot of hardware, medical devices like this one, the blood pressure monitor, is wired today. And the device actually is not the one you can see in the hospital because it's a smart device, smart one. It's an IoT. All the devices actually connect to the internet via the phone. For example, this one, actually we can connect to the phone using Bluetooth. Where's my phone? Here. Okay, it can connect to my phone using Bluetooth. And some devices like this glucometer, smaller one, it can using the audio jack to put on the phone. So all the test data will go to the internet using the modern technology. So that was what we did before. But that seems easy. But that is only the first step we did 5 years ago. So during the 5 years, actually, we have almost 1 million users using our devices to test their blood sugar, blood pressure, or activity every day. And we get a lot of data. But that's not enough. That's only the first step. We just connect the device to the cloud. We send the data to the cloud. But the most important thing is we are going to connect people, connecting the doctor with the patients. That's exactly why we need to buy the devices. The people buy the devices not really want to buy the device. They want to be healthier. They want to live longer, right? But how we can use the device to make our live longer? We need to have some service to the people, connect the people with the doctor. For example, I'm a diabetic. I know a lot of people, maybe 30% of the population in the United States have some chronic disease. For example, the hypertension, diabetes. But they need to change their lifestyle to fix that. That's not something you need to go to the hospital like once a month to test your blood pressure. You cannot fix that. You need to do it twice a day, maybe 3 times a day at home to test your blood pressure, blood sugar, to see the change, and also compare to the, also you need the advices from the doctor telling you, you need to do more exercises to change your diet. You know, the chronic disease costs a lot every year in the United States. You know, that is the majority cost of the healthcare. If we can do something to maybe reduce the 10% of the cost of the chronic disease, the money we saved actually can be more than some smaller countries' GDP. No kidding, that's true. So that we trying to do something. The first step we did is we connect the device to the internet. The second we are currently doing now is we connect the people. To connect people, to get the people help you to control your health status. So that's why we make the software as service platform right now. It's already connected to the hardware plus software plus service. We are going to make a small demo here with Jason, my colleague. Come here. He actually a main contributor to the system. What we're going to demo is like we show on the screen. So I have a device here, like the blood pressure monitor. Let me turn it on. Okay. And I will use the application we built using Codo Meteor. Okay, hold on. Let me switch back to the demo screen. You can see. Yeah. Okay, good. And you can see on the left side, this application is building both applications. This is the doctor application he's using, like the right side. You move it a little bit. You see at the right side, the doctor app. Move it. Move it. Okay, everybody knows that is the doctor. Not you move it, the phone move it. Okay. And also, I'm the patient. So I'm going to use the app to test my blood pressure right now. And my doctor, Dr. Lee, actually can see what my current status. That's starting right now. Currently, you can see my historical data. That tested several times. And now let's go to the new measurement. Okay, press it. So now, actually, using Bluetooth technology to control the blood pressure monitor. You cannot feel it, but I can feel it now. The cuff is pumping air into it and testing my blood pressure. I believe it will be very high because I'm talking. So we can see the result in a few minutes. You can see. Okay. We're still getting higher. Yeah, come on, die higher.
Doctor.
Doctor's here. Okay.
Seriously?
Stop. No way. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I see
That's
how
actually
far
not
it
the
is.
measuring.
Oh, it's terrible. No, that's not right. Okay, it seems that's very, very high. Very, very high.
Supposed to relax that arm, not be using it to grasp.
Yeah, because I'm so excited in front of you guys. Okay, now you can see tend to back to the value, to my profile. You can go ahead to expand it.
You can now see his result on the far right in the latest, and also if you go down, you can see the heart rate and the latest blood pressures that came in today.
Okay. So yeah, you can see it's pretty high, and as my doctor, he actually in charge of my health. So you need to let me know
Sure.
or ask me what happened.
Sure. The typical use case for the app would be something like chat built into it. As a doctor, I would make him say something like,
Yeah, he asked me.
"What?"
Today. Yeah, you see, I can get that message here real time. I can answer yes because I'm in front of a group of meteorites. Yeah, and also I can take a picture to approve that I do some cool stuff here. Okay, the picture actually you can see sent to the doctor in real time. Right. So this demo actually is a very easy, very simple application. But what I'm going to say is we actually build this app based on a frame. Oh, hold on, let me start. We actually built the application based on the framework. The reason we built it on framework is because this is not a consumer-based application. We built that for the hospital, with clinic. But every hospital is a little bit different. We cannot build one to fit all. So we need to reduce the cost and the speed up and the faster iteration to do the application. That's why we have a framework, right? This guy is the main contributor for the framework.
Okay. So as Kevin mentioned, we are currently moving towards a new business model, and that includes that exposed us to a set of new challenges that we didn't face before. And one of those challenges was that basically every time we have a new enterprise customer, we had to literally create a completely new custom application, literally from scratch. However, we found ourselves creating a lot of repeated components. To give you an example, at iHealth, we have about a dozen hardware products, and each one of those hardware products have a software with it to go with it. And however, when we're actually providing an enterprise solution, a lot of the work that we do does not require all of those dozen products. We usually only require 2 or 3 of those products with some unique features, like the example that you saw earlier, where the main showcase there was the blood pressure. And at the same time, we had to make sure that the technology that we built had to be reliable, and the development speed and the quality and the speed was the right fit for us. So that ultimately led us in a search for a new technology stack. The first choice we made was actually Meteor and Cordova, and that was an easy choice for us because it was easy for us to see Yes, it was his best. And because it was easy for us to see the benefits of using Meteor and the performance that it brings. And on top of that, the benefit of using Cordova to build a single application for all platforms. And with that, we could also service our clients much faster too. So
it's just like the building blocks, like building the modular house. We actually, in our Silicon Valley team, we actually create all the not device, but all the building blocks. And our co-workers in Paris, in China, actually they have clients locally. They work on site. They using the building blocks we made in the United States. They combine together into a real product in very short period of time and very high quality. Okay. Yeah. And also, it's not only changed the way we build an application, but also it actually changed the business model. Before we go to this way, we're just selling the devices, like the hardware we're selling in Walmart, in Amazon, in maybe some Best Buy store. That is a very old business model. Now we turn into a different way using software as service. We call this PM3. That means we can charge the client per member, per module, per month. Just like how the mobile phone company charge us the telecom bill. So in this case, we can very easily modify the business model. Also can cost much less at the beginning. The hardware could be free if you have a contract. Some conditions applies. You can do that. It's a very good module for us. Very good business model for us. And for the framework, you can talk something more, and we can demo the framework.
So essentially what we ended up doing was we started building our own framework. And the framework is literally a library of packages, private packages that we built for ourselves. To give you an example of how it works, the best example I can think of is literally like Atmosphere.js. We write our own, we literally package everything we do. And what that allows us to do is we are able to work very, very modularly. And the way we write apps is pretty much how it's done on the Atmosphere.js. So in this example, imagine all the circles are the packages that we have in the library. And one of the packages we do have is a front-end package for the front-end UI package for the front-end framework. And with that, basically, we just extend it. And then with the engine package, which contains most of the common elements of the mobile and the web framework, we just extend it to build the mobile framework, web framework, and that allows our development teams in China and France to extend that and have their own framework. And if there's a unique case for a particular project, we could do the same thing for this project XYZ and the APCs. And literally everything we do works pretty much this way, where if we have devices, eye health device, we would have an engine for the devices, and all the blood pressure and the blood glucose and all those device packages extend out of there. And also one thing I forgot to mention is that we have offices in China and France and USA, and we all work independently. We all each have our own unique deal flows, and we all have our own enterprise clients. And we all have their own separate independent development teams. And what Meteor allows us to do is it allows us to keep our software product quality common and just in line with all of us, even though we're all global. So we have a unified software product quality. So talking about the front-end framework just a second ago, we decided to work with React. At first, we explored Blaze and we explored Famous. Eventually, we settled with React, and we haven't looked back since. And in working with React, we learned 3 particular things that we notice about working with React. And one is that React is actually really great for utility. A lot of people already know that React is very modular. And a lot of people already know that React is great for UI. But utility is also what I think is probably the best feature of React. For example, a lot of the common things that we write as Meteor developers, like creating a loading functionality to wait for a subscription to end, is very easy to put that in a loading component and then never rewrite it again, just reuse it. Or creating a very simple thing like converting a string to a link if there was an href or a click handler, or creating an animation component and having the template fed into it from like a router and having every route transition. Things like that is a utility that you can write into a component and reuse very easily. The second thing we learned is that flexibility. React is very flexible. It's almost like having a paragraph or a figure inside a div element. You could literally write your own React component in like a list reactive component and create an item or a tab and then mix and match the utilities and the front end that you need, and to create a very flexible structure of React elements yourself. And the third thing we gave it a shot is CSS and JavaScript. We heard about it. We gave it a shot. At first, I must admit that CSS and JavaScript can be very, very awkward. But once we started using it, we learned that you can actually do a lot more with CSS and JavaScript, provided that you actually have some very strong foundations and planning in the beginning. Okay.
Yeah. We can show you how the framework look like. Can you turn on your app? Yeah. So this is actually the demo of the framework we have. We currently have a lot of UI components, like for example the cards. We have a different kind of cards that can be used. So if you want to use any of them, you can just pick one from the library and copy the code to your application. For example, the one we showed here on the right side, the doctor app, the people with the avatar there, actually that is coming from this. It's also in our library. And also the chart, the blood pressure chart, actually coming from the graphs line chart. You can just reuse it because it's already in the library. Also, for some of the components are pretty big. For example, the blood pressure monitor module, it actually coming from this, the same one as the demo just now. So with the help of the framework, the building application is very easy. You don't have to do everything from the ground up. You can just reuse what we had in library and take it to your application and make some minimal modification. Since then, it's pretty easy and it's pretty high quality because we use React based on top of Meteor, on top of Cordova. And the performance on the mobile phone is pretty good. It's much better than we tried before using Blaze only. So the performance is pretty good.
Also, another thing about that, what you see there, that's also where we take our new developers to learn about the framework, and then just the basic things like the UI.
Yeah. So I'm very honored today to announce that we are going to open source the framework. So everybody, you can use the framework we have today. But I have to say we cannot open source today, but we just announced today. If you want to know, catch up what we, get to know when we can release it, I encourage you to go to the website to log in your email address, so we can notify you once the framework is ready to open source. It would be in 1 or 2 months, I think.
Sure. 1 or 2 months.
1 or 2 months, we are ready to open source it. The code currently is a little bit ugly. We just don't want to show it. The last thing, I think the most important for us is we are looking for people to join us. Because we currently have office in Silicon Valley in Mountain View, and we have a Beijing office and the Paris office. We need a lot of developers join us to make something cool, like what I said. We make some application to help people live longer. That's a cool thing, right? And also, we also invest. So that's what I said. You join us, or we join you. If you have if you have a good idea related to healthcare, you're going to use our framework. Actually, we invest into your company. We could make something really cool and help people to live longer. And this is my email address and LinkedIn. You can ping me. And after the talk, actually, I will sit here. And if you want to talk to us, just come to us. OK?
Kevin, could you put up the other URL?
Yeah, OK.
Partner URL.
Yeah, you can take a picture and you log into it. And use the email address. We can notify you once we are ready. OK. So any question?
Great, good job, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, questions?
Go ahead.
You mentioned the CSS and JavaScript.
Yeah.
What were some of those strong foundational things?
Repeat the question.
So he was asking about CSS and JavaScript. What are those strong foundations we had to build? The first thing is that you have to you could probably already imagine media queries, such a pain to deal with, and the cross-browser issues, big pain to deal with as well. Those are actually still things that we're trying to figure out how to do it more solidly, along with many other people, I'm sure. But for us, the first foundation that we built is the mimicking the abilities of SAS CSS. That was right off the bat the first thing I thought of. Clearly, that's something that JavaScript could do. So that was the strong foundation that we built. Yeah, I would say that's the main one. And other than that, we also have this thing we're calling a theme right now. We kind of have a component with a different theme. It's essentially like having an item with different. In CSS you can have an item and then another class and then mix it, kind of like that. So we're using a function to do all that, things like that.
Patient health information is regulated, here in the US, it's under HIPAA.
Regulator, HIPAA, right?
Yeah. So if you implemented the security, the audit trail, and all of that built into the framework.
Oh yes. The question is regarding the HIPAA complaint in US. Okay. Yes. Our application actually need to go to HIPAA because we have the medical data. And we are currently working in the process. It will take about 1 month to finish. So once we finish the HIPAA compliant, and all the application we're building using the framework can be automatically be compliant by HIPAA compliant. And also all the devices.
However, I think we should note that the framework does not contain any of the iHealth stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
framework is UI.
Yeah. What he means when he talks about open sourcing, he's only talking about the front end stuff. That is something that React community could use.
Right, and all the devices are FDA approved.
Yeah.
Okay. You go first.
Have you tried React Native at all? Or
Okay.
Have you tried React Native? No, we have not. But one of the reasons why we chose to implement CSS in JavaScript was because of that reason.
Yeah, in the future, I believe within half year, we are going to go to the React Native.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And one more question. Did you use React even before the official React integration?
Yes.
So, okay, and how did it go for you?
Repeat the question.
Do we use React before the feature was introduced in Meteor, I'm guessing? Yeah. Yes. We stripped out Blaze. We just took out Blaze and replaced with React. Yeah.
But now it's easier. We have a version 1.2.
Exactly, which I haven't played with yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Did you at all play with PostCSS?
Post CSS? I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm aware of that one.
Oh, okay. That's okay. I was just wondering.
Okay.
CSS, yeah, similar.
Okay.
Okay.
So now
One
the
more
guy has
question?
question. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought that was super cool. But
Thanks.
are all the graphics and stuff like that? Is it all CSS based?
It's inline styles.
It's all
Inline styles, yeah. Everything you saw was inline style.
Repeat the question.
Oh, so are the graphics like that done by CSS? That was the question?
Pretty much, yeah, that and just are the animations, I guess,
The graphs.
is that all CSS? And stuff like
Yes, that's all CSS, inline CSS. Yeah.
Okay.
We use transitions and stuff like that.
Right. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Excuse me. All right, so next up, we'll have lightning talks. That's going to start in a few minutes. You can see the lineup at lightningtalks.meteor.com. But first, we'll take a 5-minute break. So if you are speaking, please come backstage now, here to my left. And everyone else, go ahead, stretch your legs. We'll see you in 5 minutes, so that'll be at 7:53. Thank you. we're going to get started.
Everybody ignored you.
Oh, and you can just be. Oh. Everyone, if you could please settle down now, we're going to start up. You know what? I don't know. I'll stand here and I'll bring you on. I'm sorry. Okay, folks, if you could sit down, we're going to start now. Great. Okay, we are ready to get on with lightning talks, and we will start with our very own Nick Coe.
Hello, everybody. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Nick Coe, and I work here at Meteor on the community team. One of the things that I've been working on with the rest of the community team for the past few weeks that we're really excited about is the Meteor Distributed Global Hackathon, and that's going to be happening over the weekend of October 10th and 11th. We've already got some really exciting numbers to share with you here. We've had hundreds of teams who have registered from all over the world, and we're also going to have a ton of in-person events. We have in-person events right now on 6 continents, but we were thinking earlier today, like 6 continents, we kind of have a global focus here at MDG. And so with that in mind, I wanted to announce that we're going to begin recruiting for the Antarctica instance of the Global Hackathon, just to make sure we check all of our boxes as far as the continents are concerned. That's not actually my announcement. What I did want to tell you was a little bit about the prizes that we're going to be giving away at the hackathon. So I'm really excited to announce that the top 2 submissions to our hackathon this year will win a 1-year subscription to Galaxy. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with Galaxy, it's our commercial service for running and managing Meteor applications in the cloud. If you guys want to learn more about this hackathon, you can go to this URL, which I'll leave up as I talk a little bit more about this. We're still accepting team registrations through October 2nd, which is Friday of next week. We will have an instance of the hackathon here in San Francisco to announce to you soon. And yeah, all the information you could ever want about the Global Hackathon you can find right here. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Our next lightning talk will be by Ashish Laroya.
Awesome. Some of you use awesome in the audience, I hope? All right, great. Cool. Okay, hi everyone. I'm here to tell you about Sandstorm and how it makes deploying Meteor apps as easy as making a new Google Doc. So I work at Sandstorm along with Jade, who you'll hear from soon. By the way, I don't know, anyway, my perspective here is very different than from when I was sitting there. So Sandstorm, one way to think about it is that it is an alternative to Google Docs. And another way to think about it is as a package manager for web applications. So you can think of this as the goal we have is to make an alternative to Google Docs that's open source, that people can control their own data and their own apps with. And so, okay. Great. I don't really understand, but okay. Yeah, it's a package manager for web apps with an emphasis on security. I'll tell you a bit about that in a second. It's also a perfect fit for many kinds of Meteor apps. So let me dive into the Google Docs thing. So many people here have probably used Google Docs. How many of you here have used Google's services? Yeah, so they're really great in many ways. It's a lot like Microsoft Word, but now you can see your stuff on multiple computers at once. And Google Docs has tools not just for writing text documents, but for writing spreadsheets and all sorts of things like presentations, although this doesn't use that. And this is really great, but there is a privacy problem that results from this. It results in all of us giving our private information about the documents we're making and who we're collaborating with to Google. And for some of us, this is a privacy problem. For others, it isn't. But the kinds of people who do care about privacy are nonprofits that work with sensitive clients, lawyers, journalists, people like me who care about running their own servers, and enormous companies who don't want Google knowing what they're working on. So Sandstorm isn't just a service. It's open source software people can run on whatever machines they have, so they can self-host to fix that privacy problem. And I said it was a package manager for web applications. That's because the Sandstorm team doesn't have time to rewrite every single Google Docs type app. The way that we achieve our goal is by packaging existing apps or having the open source maintainers of those existing apps create their own packages. The best Sandstorm apps are made by the team that maintains the package upstream, for example, EtherCalc, HackerSlides, and RocketChat. Let me show you that. So if I'm lucky, so I think I'm going to do a live demo, but you know what they say. So yes, better. Great. OK, so I'm loading up one dashboard for a Sandstorm server. If you have Sandstorm installed on your own machine, it'll look a lot like this. I'm going to click on this menu icon and go to a new thing. The kind of thing I want to make is a RocketChat. So I'm going to click this button to make a RocketChat. And that starts the RocketChat app. Sure, I want to use this username. Great. And RocketChat has its own little menu, and there's a chat room called General. But there's just me inside here. I can invite people using Sandstorm to this instance. And I have a list of email addresses of nice people who have been willing to be invited. The mouse is so far. OK. I think that's send invite. Great. Successfully sent. So if I'm lucky, some of my friends will now join this chat room. While I wait for them, let me emphasize that Sandstorm is the one managing access control, not RocketChat. So that share UI that you saw was provided by the platform, not the app. So we get to apply the Google Docs sharing model to any open source web app, or even a proprietary web app that can run in Sandstorm. So this is totally RocketChat, and we could join some channels. The very same thing that we saw earlier. Uh-oh. So with only a few seconds left, it's a good thing I didn't share this too widely, or else it might have been anyway. So one thing I want to emphasize is that Sandstorm looks like a usability project and is secretly a security project. We really want people to be able to run these open source apps of any kind, proprietary, whatever, safely. And we know that realistically, people don't upgrade the software they use. So we have built a custom sandbox to make that work. We can actually save users of Sandstorm from bugs in the apps and in the Linux kernel. Just this year, there's at least 3 Linux kernel vulnerabilities that Sandstorm apps can't exploit, and 3 app CVEs that Sandstorm defangs, in effect. So I said this is perfect for Meteor apps. Oh. I claim this is perfect for Meteor apps. In particular, you can take a Meteor app, package it for Sandstorm, distribute that package to somebody, and they can trust that your app is running sandboxed. So the data that they give to your app running on their servers, Sandstorm makes sure that data can't be leaked outside of their servers, which is the kind of trust that isn't easy to get in software with software as a service hosting. And also you can write less code because Sandstorm has a built-in way to create multiple instances of an app, which you can use for multiple documents or multiple chat systems or so on. So that's what I have for you. Sandstorm is an alternative to Google Docs. It is a package manager for web apps, and I think it's a perfect fit for Meteor apps. Thanks. Do we have time for questions?
We have maybe 2 questions.
Great. Do we have time for 2 questions? Do we have questions for 2? Oh, -1 question. Thanks to Nena, our designer, for making these amazing graphics. OK, questions. So you're all going to package things for Sandstorm now, I take it? Great.
I've got a quick question.
Yeah.
Is there a payment gateway that you guys are planning on putting on the front end to be able to take, for these open source projects, to be able to take PayPal or Bitcoin or?
Yeah, so long story what? Oh,
question?
the question is, will we have a payments gateway for projects to be able to take payments inside the Sandstorm platform? There is an app marketplace after all. You'd imagine there's some market aspect to that? And the answer is yes, eventually. We don't have it ready yet. Yeah.
Any import features from existing apps that don't support Sandstorm?
So the question was, are there import features for existing apps that don't support Sandstorm? The short answer is each Sandstorm app can provide its own import functionality, but we don't have something sort of platform level to enable that. And I think we should make that, and we haven't made it yet. I thought I saw a third question. Sneak in, hurry. Okay, fine, bye.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ashish.
I'll have stickers for you all.
Yep. Okay. Our next presenter will be Avital Oliver, who is a core dev at Meteor.
Right, hi everyone, thanks for coming. My name is Avital, some people call me Avi, I work here at Meteor. I'm talking about writing shell scripts with JavaScript and how it can actually be awesome. Please never use Bash. This is going to be the story about me suggesting that we use Bash. If you write scripts with ES 2015, the new version of JavaScript that Meteor 1.2 lets you write with natively, and you add fibers to get synchronous APIs, then it's just the best thing ever. And I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by this. A true story. We here at Meteor, we built a bunch of React packages lately, and we need to write a script to let us publish a bunch of packages together. But some packages depend on other packages, and when one package changes, you have to also publish the packages that depend on that package. So we had a directory with a bunch of packages. We have to kind of figure out what has changed. The script needs to do a little bit more. It needs to check for uncommitted files, merge Git branches, ask for new version numbers, like what do you want the new version for this package to be, and update the package.js files across all the packages that need to be published. So I said, yeah, we can do this easily with Bash. It's just a bunch of regular expressions, right? I luckily found this nice description. Yeah, it's about as easy as childbirth. So one of the gems in our long Bash script of version 1 was inside it we had to just take a list of directories and take a list of files, turn them into a list of directories. We ended up choosing to use Ruby inside Bash because it was just the easiest way to do it. And we used this, I guess, feature where you can use a Bash variable inside your Ruby. It was quite an interesting thing. So Sashka wanted us to use Ruby, but not everybody in the company felt comfortable with Ruby. But of course, we all do feel comfortable with JavaScript, right? Because we all write JavaScript. That's what we do here. So why didn't we just use JavaScript to begin with? Well, there are actually a few reasons you probably don't want to use JavaScript kind of like as is to build your shell scripts. First of all, callbacks. You have to nest the callbacks or use promises or other kind of technologies. Even if you use promises or other libraries to help you, you still have to do manual error handling and check like if the error is this. And if you forget to check errors in your callbacks, you might have errors and your program will continue running or hang and you won't even know about them. You really want exceptions just like you do. Like if there's a failure, just stop and be able to catch it. Fibers in fibers in JavaScript that Meteor enables by default gives you exactly that. The easiest way in a regular Node app to get that is use this library called sync. You just run npm install sync in any Node app. And then you could do stuff like this. So this is kind of long. I won't explain it all. But the important part is I took this part of Node read line that lets you ask the user for input and then get the result. But instead, there's now a new function called prompt sync that just returns the answer, as opposed to a Node where you pass it a function, then that function gets called. So then when you use prompt sync, it's really easy. You just call prompt sync, you pass it a string, and get the result back. Which is what you'd get in like Python, Ruby, or any other actual language in the world. A few other things that you don't get in JavaScript as is you can't do string interpolation or multi-line strings. You have to do like close quote plus close quote. Well, with ES 2015, which is the new version of JavaScript, some people call this ES6, you just get it. So you can do stuff like this. You can write prompt sync, that's the function I declared just earlier. Package this was that version, this and that. What should the new version be? If you still want to, you can still call out to Bash. Like if you want to use grep or something and it just fits the job, you can use xxsync and just call out the function, get the result, and then parse the result in JavaScript where you actually have programming. So just to summarize, ES 2015 is really, really cool. This is a quick example by my coworker Ben Newman that's showing how it took an original JavaScript file with regular JavaScript, or ES20, whatever, 1999, and turned it into ES 2015. It's that much shorter and more clear. And shell scripting with ES2015 and fibers is really awesome, and I think it's just the best way to write shell scripts these days. In Node, if people care how we wrote this actual script in Node, this is in the React Packages project under scripts publish packages. It's a little annoying to set up in Node. In Meteor, you just get it out of the box. So you just start using Meteor, and you have ES2015 available immediately. For those that don't know ES2015, we're going to have some blog posts about that. So that's probably going to be the easiest way to learn ES2015. That's what I got. This is the link if somebody cares about how we wrote this in Node.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Have you thought of using a task runner like Gulp for doing these kind of build scripts?
The question was, have I thought of using a task runner like Gulp for writing build scripts? I'm not sure what Gulp would add to this. Like, it's not that the problem was parsing the command line arguments. It was just writing the code.
Handling error conditions much better by hiding them through.
I would rather just write the error handling, I guess. I mean, maybe I'm not sure exactly what the alternative would be, but this seems it was so straightforward. I don't see what could have been easier with using something else. Anything else? Yeah, hi.
Are you using Meteor to run these command scripts, or are you just running?
The question, did I use Meteor to run these scripts? It was not Meteor. No, Meteor is not the best tool for command line scripts, at least not at the moment, so we just used Node. It was actually annoying. The part of hooking up ES2015, I was like, I can't believe I have to do this. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Great. Thanks, Avi. Next up, we have Jose Tisol. Find it?
All right, so my name is Jose Tisol. Disclaimer, I don't work at Google. I just Google everything that I have a problem with or I see an error or something. I'm a college student, and I recently started, learning how to, build websites. And so I first started learning how to build websites like static HTML websites, something that's not interactive. So just building HTML websites. And then I tried to build a web application using the mean stack pattern, like Mongo, Angular. And it just took a long time. I couldn't really build it. I got discouraged because I'm a beginner. I don't know where to start. There's so many tools for you to learn. And so I couldn't really do it. And so my friend and I actually run a little company where we make websites for small businesses. And so we had this small company who asked us to build this e-commerce site for them. And then I hadn't built one before, so I decided to use Meteor because it was really friendly to beginners. And so what I did basically, I wrote this application in Meteor using Angular and Meteor. So basically, it's just an e-commerce site that you can see here that we sell boards. That's what our client, they do. They do sell boards right here. So here I can select a board right here and then go into my shopping cart and see the item inside here. And then I can check out using Stripe and credit card processing. That's what I can do. So what I did to do this project was just I forked the ng cart that was written natively in Angular, and I forked it, and then I just pasted it inside the Meteor app. And then I followed the tutorial here on angularmeteor.com. And then here, Yurigo is the one who runs this website, and he basically explains all of the things that you need to do to start an application and get it running. So that's what I did, and so I started diving into it, and I started learning. So basically, this is almost like the code, basically for it. So here you can see these are my routes. I don't really know how to do routes, but I started Googling, and I found how to do routes. And here's something that I just copy and paste from the Angular website, Angular Meteor website. So here you can see all my routes, my controllers, and things like that, my directives. So I decided to use Angular because it was something that I was trying to build the main stack already, but it really didn't work until I used Meteor, and then it worked. And then just used an API to process the credit card Stripe, and then there's just a testing right there. So basically, I was excited. I got it working. It's my first app that I ever built, and then now I was faced with deployment. So how do I deploy this? And so what I did, basically I discovered this package called Meteor app. And I just put the path of where the file was found, my app, and then I just install it globally using npm, and then I go to DigitalOcean and start a droplet, and then use it, and then deploy the app. So now switchboard.com is actually in production, and it's my first ever app that I built, my first gig, basically using Angular and Meteor, and then it's running right now, and people actually are buying this and buying the boards, the product basically that the company sells. And so try Meteor. It's really user-friendly for beginners. I didn't have a lot of experience. The only thing I had was just build static web applications. But with Meteor.js, it's super easy to build a full stack application. So give it a try. I love Meteor.js.
Any questions for Jose?
I have a question. How long did it take you to build that?
It took us about 2 weeks just Googling around and copying and pasting things together. So, yeah. Yes.
What was the impetus to build this from scratch when there are platforms like Shopify?
We wanted to build an app because all we've done is build static websites, and so I wanted to build something dynamic, something like that I could build, and I want to build my skills. And so Meteor was just super friendly. I tried using the mean stack, but it just took a long time to put everything together, and I got discouraged, and I didn't want to do it anymore. But once I started using Meteor, everything became easier, and so I was encouraged to do it.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Jose. Okay, next up we have Mike Zacher.
So I may need to, could you maybe help me with the cable? Okay. Okay, so I'm Mike from Vasco. We're a software house located in Poland. We have 15 developers, and recently we're focusing on a project that we call Universe or UniCMS. And today I would like to tell you a little bit about the project, and we're mostly interested in your feedback and how we could help you with developing project further. So first I'll tell you why we built Universe, then what the Universe is, and then I'll show you a quick demo of the system and our roadmap. At our software house, we had some problem with code maintenance. We had some projects that we were supporting for a long time, a few years, and with every change that we were doing, actually the complexity of the project was increasing. So we wanted to have architecture that would simplify the maintenance, that would make the projects more streamlined and to simplify the complex projects. We also wanted to increase the reusability of the code. If you have a few developers working on a few projects, it's actually a challenge to make sure that everything can be reusable and can be used on different projects. Then also we wanted to improve the bootstrapping, and this is especially useful for small projects that you want to build in a few hours and then maybe extend in the future. So we decided to build a package ecosystem that would actually allow us to meet those goals. And you could say that Universe is, there are actually two sets of packages. First one is the low-level system of packages that actually provides you with functionalities which are which can work independently, but also together they actually provide functionalities that give you something more. Then on top of those library packages, we have something which we call plugins, which are actually plug and play, and they provide functionalities like blogs, chats, forums, like high-level functionalities. All of this is built with the modular architecture. We want to make sure that we can reuse those elements as much as possible. And we also use the React as the default frontend. Universe also provides you with some basic code base to build your applications quicker. The basic building blocks of Universe are, I think, those three. Actually, we have about 30 packages on Atmosphere, but if you would like to start and check how Universe works, I would advise you to start with those first two packages. First one is something which we could call Meteor collections on steroids. We built all the low-level functionalities based on on this package. Second one, it provides you with ECMAScript modules in Meteor, and this package actually provides you with more modular architecture. And third one is an actual CMS that gives you ability to create some basic elements really quickly. So this is actually the screenshot of the Blaze version of the website that was built with the universe. Here, on this version, we had functionalities like messages, activity stream, some simple blocks, simple projects, events, and all the modules that were here you could actually reuse and like build different projects based on them. We decided to move to React, and in React we already have some basic functionalities like registration, like admin panel, some basic profile management, and also some basic modules. And right now we're in a process of rebuilding all of the functionalities from the Blaze version into the React version. And the roadmap is well, first, next week we'll be launching the incremental loading of modules. Then we're actually going to focus on the CMS version of the system and on the part that will actually allow us to build the simple websites quickly. Then we'll launch code generators, and in the end we'll focus on the documentation. We'll be also releasing more features with the new versions. Actually, we had a presentation in London in June, so the changes from this presentation to the current version are that we have basic React support, we have integration with semantic UI, we also have a lot of improvements in the current system, and a lot of low-level packages like language support, and NPM module integration, and a lot of other things. And if you would like to actually follow the progress of the universe, you can check our website. And we'll be also launching a poll to actually check what features will be most useful for you. We plan to actually take this into consideration when we'll be extending the platform. So thank you very much.
We have questions for Mike.
Yeah, I can see everything is clear.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot. All right, next up we have Jade Wong.
All right, here we go. I'm using Sandstorm to show you Sandstorm stuff. All right, so. Hi, I'm Jade. You guys heard from Nick earlier today about the Meteor Hackathon. So I have an announcement for you guys. We're going to offer designer office hours for hackathon participants. And especially if you're going to, okay, so who are we, Sandstorm, and what is this all about? Well, so you guys heard from Ashish earlier, but for anyone who is tuning in just now, Sandstorm is a radically easier way to deploy applications to your private cloud and a way to manage them. What should you do for the hackathon? Well, you should use Vagrant SPK to create a Sandstorm package, SPK, for your app, your hackathon app, and you should submit it to the app market. What do you get if you do that? You get designer office hours with Naina, who did those awesome graphics that you saw in Ashish's presentation. These sessions will begin the day before the hackathon and throughout the weekend. You will get a free year of Oasis, which is Sandstorm's managed hosting service, at any tier, and this usually is kind of costly. And what can you use it for? Well, you can use it for private Git hosting if you want to use that. You can use it for document collaboration, real-time collaboration apps. You can host any app you want, including your own. And Sandstorm has built-in access control and sharing. And I'll also give you a Keybase invite if you don't already have one, because that's actually necessary for the Sandstorm app market. So what are some reasons why this is a really good idea for your hackathon app? Reasons. Less work to do. So Sandstorm has multi-instance already built in. So if you have, say, a game, and it's a game board, it's a chessboard or something, you can just make the one board, and Sandstorm will make each additional instance for you. And so that makes it a lot less work for you, especially when you're on a deadline, if you only have 24 hours to do it. Built-in auth sharing and access control. So Sandstorm handles all of that for you. You don't have to worry about any of that. Additional reasons. This will enable self-hosters to use your hackathon app. That means your app lives on even if you aren't thinking about it anymore. It doesn't have to just languish as so many hackathon apps actually do. Lastly, it's secure and open source. That means you can keep auto-publish and insecure in them, and it's actually totally fine because Sandstorm runs every app instance in a separate securely sandboxed container. And that protects the users from any possible security bugs in the app itself, or even from malicious apps. So feel free to just leave auto-publish in there. That's okay. Be lazy. You're on a deadline. Also, Sandstorm is open source, and we're on a mission to make open source web apps viable as an ecosystem. So if those aren't reasons enough, you will be in good company. Here are some Meteor apps that have been packaged for Sandstorm deployment, and these are some of the awesome folks whose apps these are or have done the packaging work for those apps. Some of them you may have heard about earlier today. So this is the URL you'll need to remember, vagrantspk.meteor.com. This is actually a redirect to the page in our docs that has essentially like a couple of lines you run. Actually, I could actually package a Meteor app during a lightning talk, but that would be a whole separate lightning talk because it's that fast to do. And on that note, if you want to learn more about Sandstorm, we have a meetup coming up next Wednesday. It's at the ThoughtWorks office, and that's the link you go to. Yeah, any questions? All right.
All right. Thanks, Jade.
Oh yeah, take a picture of that one too.
Coming up next is Joshua Ullman.
Hi, I'm Joshua. I'm the lead developer at Useful.io, and I've been building production apps using 100% Meteor for the last year and a half. And I'm here to talk about the Useful Forms package. Meteor needs a forms package. Ever since I started using Meteor, I've been looking for the perfect forms package. And this is the first one I found that I really liked. Well, I wrote it myself. It's super simple. Here we've got a form with just 3 inputs. And all you need to use the forms package and get your data out of this form is that first line there in your JavaScript, the forms.mixin, which is just going to add the form's goodness to your form. And then you're just going to handle the document submit event. And you get past the document that you want automatically. You just have it there. You can insert it directly into your database without modification if you like. And what you also get is that your HTML and JavaScript are decoupled. So we just added 4 inputs here, and we don't have to touch our JavaScript. And we could remove inputs, we could rename them, we could convert our form from Bootstrap style to Materialize. We can do anything we want with the HTML, and as long as we still have inputs that are emitting the change events, then the form works. The API is also reactive and extensible. Here, I've built a custom form control, and that form control is a button. But all I need to do to make that work with the forms package is call the one line you see kind of towards the bottom of my JavaScript there, form.change. That triggers the forms API to update the underlying state and to change that doc.notify that you see in my HTML from true to false or vice versa. And the API is super flexible all over the place. Here we've got a form where you submit a comment. And instead of validating this comment on the client side, what we're doing is validating it on the server side, and then we're just going to display that error message in the form. Because the Forms API lets you just add errors to the collection of errors, then you can just drop that error right in, and voila, you're good to go. So what do you get with the Forms API? You get a one-line code to integrate any particular template. That forms.mixin is going to add forms goodness to any of your templates. You get events that make sense for your forms. You also get template helpers that make sense so that you can put them anywhere in your HTML. You can show your errors above or below or next to or all in a list at the end of your form, anywhere you want those. You also get an awesome API so that when the template helpers and events aren't enough, you can directly manipulate the state of your form. Some other fun facts. We have support for schema and validation, but it's totally optional. If you don't need to validate your form, you don't have to use the schema. If you want to build custom inputs, if you want to build something like AutoForm where your entire form gets laid out according to your schema, we have the underlying API to make that easy. We're planning support for drop-in validation, so you could just use Astronomy or Simple Schema to validate your documents. We're planning support for subdocuments and transform hooks, so that if you want a number and not a string, you can do that. And it's super small, which means if you're confused about how it works, just read the source code. It's only 427 lines. If you think that API sounds awesome, we're planning another one, and it's not out yet, but go to hailstation.io and you'll see we've got a plan for making messages as easy to do as accounts. So back to forms, try it out, Meteor add useful forms. Get on GitHub and contribute, let us know what the bugs are, let us know what new features you want, and that's it. Any questions? Yes.
Does it work only with Blaze, or are you planning future iterations?
So it's a...
Can you repeat the question?
So he wanted to know whether it would work only with Blaze or with other integrations. Currently, it extends your template by adding helpers and events, so it wouldn't work with other UI systems. But that'd be something to think about. Anyone else? Yes?
The messaging system, you're talking about messaging
queue. Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about messaging queue?
So what we're talking about with messages is it's really easy to build like a basic chat app, but there's lots of other features you want in a chat app that add complexity and just end up getting harder and harder to build right. And we want to build that right once and then make it easy for you to use that in your app.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Last but not least, we have Simon Tucker.
Hi, guys. Oh, that works. Cool. So I built a video chat room with WebRTC and Meteor and React and Flux. And I was trying to decide what I should talk about with you guys today. First, I would just show it. I named it Quasar, by the way. Quasar is it's like a really bright galaxy. It's a stupid name. So, you know, it's a lot like Google Hangouts in that you just have Hangout and then someone joins. And then, ta-da, like magic. Oh, here we are. I'll turn off the sound. There we go. But we have a, no, it's still talking. All right, whatever. And you can do up to like 4 or 5 people with it. And it was pretty simple. I did it in a couple weeks. So I thought I would talk a little bit about Flux. Let's talk about Flux, because people are talking about WebRTC. It's pretty cool. But maybe, you know, React just became a first-class citizen for Meteor. So let's talk a little bit about what Facebook likes to use with React. So Flux, let me make this a presentation. So Flux is this architecture that Facebook strongly recommends for using with React. And essentially, it's this event-driven architecture that says we only go through the cycle once every time something changes on the UI or something changes in the data. And we don't want things to get messed up, like components talking to each other or something like that. And it can be pretty sweet. So in the case of like a a video chat app, you might have a feature like when someone comes on to add on the video chat, you want to be able to identify that someone's been added, so there's like a single source of truth data for what's going on. And when someone joins the chat, now there's additional data. That data is then pinged from this thing that they like to call a store. So a store says, hey, someone just signed up and is joining the chat. And it sends this information out and just emits an event. And anything that's listening to that event will then trigger a UI change. So something that might care about that is like the main screen, which says, oh, someone just joined the chat. Now they're the primary screen on the chat. So we're going to update that. And then that's how it works. And then so if you clicked on something on the UI would then send an event to the store and say, hey, I want to change some data. And then the store is going to change that data. And then it's going to emit an event again. And any component that cares about that data changing will then get that information and then update accordingly. And so that's pretty sweet. But something to consider about Flux is that there is like no documentation for it. It's a really nice idea, but it's really hard to figure out initially. So maybe it's good to have some demos, which is why I created this thing. It's open source. It's on GitHub. You can play with it. So there's a decent learning curve. And it's not very obvious with Meteor. Like I ran into a bunch of race conditions when I was using trackers as an example. But some of the things that are really nice about Meteor is that you have this reactive data, so you don't have to do a lot of things to check when data is changing. Data just changes, and then the way that React works with Meteor is so nice. It just says like, hey, should I be changing this React component or not? And you just say yes. And so reactive variables were my friend when I was building this app. So definitely check it out if you're interested in that sort of stuff. And there are also a bunch of really great Meteor packages to get you started if you want to start using Flux. Some of those include Meteor Flux, which is just like a wrap around the dispatcher that Facebook puts out to use Flux. And yeah, so I think you should try it because you'll definitely like it. I personally am typically an Angular user. I do a lot of work for Google, so I was just trying to do something in my free time and wanted to check out React and check out Flux. So this was like the first application I ever built with it. It only took a couple of weeks, so the learning curve is super fast except for the documentation part. So yeah, I'm happy to take any questions about React or Flux or WebRTC from a total noob who put this stuff together pretty quickly.
Any questions?
For the thing? Yeah, it's called quasar.meteor.com. I know I really got to change that name, huh? Yeah. Yeah, and check it out on GitHub. Do your thing. Yes?
What are you using for Stun and Turn servers for your WebRTC?
I'm just using Google's servers, like the Turn and the Stun servers that they offer you for free. Yeah, so one thing that's cool about WebRTC you guys need to know is like if you're just building it from scratch, none of the streaming is happening on your Meteor server. It's happening on separate servers. It's happening between the browsers themselves. Meteor is just this middle ground that says, it's doing like a handshake. It says, hey, can I share my data with you? Oh yeah, I can share my data with you. And then the browser does the rest of the work with a server. And like you can probably use a more extensive server if you're going to be doing it for millions of people or something. But for something like this, it's free stuff. Yeah.
Can you run the Cordova on this mobile phone?
So that's the next thing I want to do with it, is play with it in Cordova. But yes, there are plugins for, so WebRTC works on Firefox and Chrome out of the gate, which is billions of users, which is really nice. And then a bunch of people have built Cordova stuff, iOS native stuff, and Android native stuff. So yeah, you can do it with anything, but that'll be the next thing I put together. The question was, like, can you do it on a mobile app in Cordova? Yeah?
Do you find the store concept in the Flux architecture to sort of be a combination of model and controller sort of put together?
Yeah, it's really similar to a lot of, sorry, is the Flux architecture like a MVV?
Concept, is it
yeah.
a combination of model and controller put together?
Yeah, so is the store concept like a combination of model and controller put together? It's a lot similar to the MVVM frameworks and stuff like that people use. It's all really similar. But the thing that I like about it that makes sense for React is components don't need to know anything about each other. They only listen to one true source of data. And the nice part about it is that it's always happening in this event loop so that you never have things clashing with each other. Like there are so many ways we could say that they're similar or different. So I don't want to get too deep into that. And also, someone might yell at me if I got something wrong there. But I'll just tell you those are the things that I like about it.
Okay, you have one more question?
All right.
All right, we're good.
Thanks
a lot.
guys.
All right, that's it for Devshop. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to our speakers. If you're watching us online, please subscribe to be notified of new videos and Devshop live events. You can rewatch tonight's live stream at any time, and we'll also be posting each talk as its own video. We also upload talks from Devshop London, so definitely subscribe and keep an eye on those talks as well. Our next Devshop San Francisco will be Thursday, October 29th. You can RSVP at meetup.com/meteor-sfbay. And let's see, if you are here in person, please help us clean up by throwing away trash and bringing your chair to the back corner. We still have plenty of food and drinks, so please feel free to stick around for a few minutes if you want to hang out. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We'll see you next time.